Okay, you've been given an equation and you're being asked to graph a circle. Now, you've probably been doing this, but maybe when it was given to you, it was already in standard form, right? And when you're in standard form, it's super easy to graph because the center and radius are just right there for you. But this is not looking so standard formish, right? So before we can graph this, we need to get it to standard form, okay? We want it to look like a parentheses squared plus parentheses squared, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to reorder this and get my x's together and my y's together, okay? So we're going to have x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 6y equals -9. Okay, so I've just moved things around. I haven't changed the equation. I just got my x's together and y's together. What we're going to do next is complete the square twice, okay? Now, if that sounds intimidating, don't worry, we're going to do it here. And if I do it too quickly or you just need a little bit more of a review, I will link some videos for you in the corner about completing the square, okay? So first, we are going to focus on the x's, okay? So I am focused in on this x squared minus 8x. When we complete the square, we're looking for what number we can add to this so it factors to a parentheses squared, right? To find that number, I'm going to take b, I'll tell you what b is in a second, divide it by 2 and square it, okay? What is b? B, in this case, is the number in front of my x, so -8, okay? So we're going to take -8, divide it by 2, and square that. -8 divided by 2 gives me a -4. And when I square that, we get a positive 16. Okay, so I'm going to add 16 here. If I add it to this side of the equal sign, I got to add it to this side, right? To keep everything balanced. That is the biggest rule in math, maybe. I don't know. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite my x's. We're ignoring the y's for 2 seconds, but they're still there. We'll come back to them, okay? So I'm going to write x squared minus 8x plus 16, okay? Then I'm going to factor this. Now, because I did completing the square, I know this is going to factor to x minus 4 times x minus 4, or I can just write that as x minus 4 squared, okay? Look, that was my goal, right? We're getting a little bit closer to looking like this, right? All right, now I'm going to put the y's back, plus y squared minus 6y equals, remember I added that 16 because I added it here. So then I've got -9 plus 16, which gives me 7, okay? Okay, now we are focused in on the y's, and we're going to complete the square again. Now, as you do this more and more and you get more practice, you could probably just do them at the same time. But for the sake of this example, I wanted to do them separately for you, okay? All right, so now we're completing the square again. So I'm going to do the b over 2 squared again. But b this time, we're looking at the y's, is -6, okay? So I'm going to take -6, divide it by 2, and square it, okay? -6 divided by 2 gives me a -3. And when I square that, I get a positive 9, right? So I'm going to add 9 to this side and to this side to keep it balanced, okay? Now I'm rewriting the y's, ignoring the x's for a second, but they're still there, okay? So I'm going to have y squared minus 6y plus 9, okay? And then I'm going to factor that. Again, because I did completing the square, I know it's going to factor to x, y. Oh my gosh, I keep doing that. Y minus 3 times y minus 3, which I can just write as y minus 3 squared. Okay, look at that. We are feeling really good. Let me just rewrite everything else, okay? So we still have this x minus 4 squared plus that y minus 3 squared equals 7 plus 9. Remember, I added 9 to both sides, which gives me 16. Guys, is that looking like standard form? It looks pretty good to me, okay? So I'm going to circle this or box it. So now we are in standard form and we can graph this, right? We can easily tell what our center and radius is now, okay? So my center is going to be, remember we changed the sign, so it's going to be 4, 3. If you need a review on this where we didn't have to change it, where we just graph it, I'll link a video in the corner. And then my radius is not 16, right? Because 16 is my radius squared, okay? So to figure out what just r is, just my radius is, I'm going to take the square root because that'll get rid of that squared, right? And I got to do it to both sides. So when I do that, I end up with r, or my radius, equals 4. Now, usually we would do plus or minus 4, but since it's a radius, it's a distance, we don't need to worry about the minus, okay? So my radius is 4. Okay, now that I have the center and the radius, it's finally time to graph it. Are you excited? Okay, so my center is 4, 3. So of course I start in the middle. I'm going to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 3, 1, 2, 3. There is the center of my circle. And then the radius is 4, which means it goes out 4 in every direction, right? Easiest way for us to do it is up, down, right, and left. Okay, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 4. And left 4. Okay. Now, just like when we graph a line, we don't graph every point, right? So this is kind of like that. We are just graphing 4 of them because it gives us a pretty good idea of what it looks like, right? My circle is not going to be perfect, but it'll give you the general idea of what it looks like, right? Okay, so my circle looks a little something like that. Okay, so hopefully this made sense. We started and we weren't in standard form. We used completing the square to get to standard form. Then we identified our center and radius and we're able to graph it. Okay, if you need some more circle videos, I will link a whole playlist for you. But hopefully this made sense. Thanks. Bye.